Let's go home.
Let's go home, baby. Guys, I told you, if you have nothing to lose, we can't lose.
Wait, what?
Impressive game from...
Hilly is in form. Reckless quietly had probably the best year of his career. You are in top form. So if you have anyone in Europe who is going to survive this man...
Cinder taken off the board. The Orianna will also follow through here from top. So now I'm looking at Nidalee and Graves as the two best junglers. Both these junglers, I believe, played 4 games on the Graves apiece.
Solo laners, that Lucian was something that Nemesis and Selfmade used to great success when they have had it in the past, and Bwipo receiving a lot of love and hype from the Fnatic fans and social media. Will Wide Bwipo happy step on stage today? Senna will be locked in. That's going to deny that from Jackie Love and put that in the hands of Rek.
Sort of picked there into the Zoe to try and absorb a lot of the punch that she can throw in lane a little bit later in the game. With the magic damage shield, he can try to absorb a whole lot of that, but also when paired next to a Kindred, topside, and Fnatic hold on to counter pick. So I would expect to see Bwipo get his pick here of what matchup he wants to take into 369.
Something that Captain Flowers and Azael were talking a lot about yesterday on the cast was the Galio combination with something a bit more forward-facing, something a bit more proactive. I know Azael, not the hugest fan of the more defensive style, but I do like the way you've just explained that with the Kindred ultimate and how they can synergize together.
Well, have you heard of Camille plus Galio? Because I would expect to see top ban that away here if they do not remove it after the
Ultimate Tempered Fate to stop every single Rift Herald charge onto the towers. Fantastic play. So that'll be denied from Yanja. With the fact that Camille and the Shen were taken away.
Have a little bit more standard of a comp where you have your clear frontliners, you have double marksmen to, you know, pump out the damage from long range, whereas I think top, especially if they go the route of a range support, would be looking to dodge out on fights a little bit more, take them slow, play off the Ezreal poke and the Zoe poke as well. But with the Leona being locked in, they want to exude some range threat, that immediate CC. The Ornn is also going to play into that very, very nicely. And now what is that counter pick option going to be for Bwipo?
Well, that's going to be the question. This is going to be the first Ornn of the 2020 World Championship for 369. And I think you've got a lot of range to play with and initiation tools on the side of top esports.
Little puddle there and escape no problem. And of course that movement speed is really hard for a lot of the top esports champions to catch up to.
Well, and that mega adhesive that Bwipo wants to drop down is hopefully going to stick Fnatic's chances in this quarterfinal. Just so you know, Bwipo has played 3 games of Singed professionally, 2 wins, 1 loss. Do you want to know the last time Selfmade played Kindred? It is over 2 years ago. He has never played it in the LEC, and he has never played it internationally.
Yeah, because I mean, I was looking at a lot of these champion stats before the game as well, because, you know, with Graves being a really high priority pick, like, would the Kindred come out? And I think Karsa hasn't played a Kindred since 2015, so while this champion is returning, it's been a long time since we've seen a heavy carry jungle focus.
Connect onto Karsa, no further follow-up. Justice Punch will be dashed away from. And now here comes Knight, no portal jump, so won't be able to get that Paddle Star at max range. Summoning Heal goes in, Spell Thief. We're setting ourselves up for a strong and interesting mid-game from the perspective of Fnatic.
Yeah, especially like just having money on a Senna too is probably the compositional counter against the Zoe on the other side.
The mind games that he's playing, when you see the damage he's putting down onto Bwipo, Nemesis and Bwipo are not beefy enough to survive the rotation. And when you add a Graves or an Ezreal damage on top of Knights,
we'll get the Yomus. Of course, that's the other thing we have to keep in mind. We're about to reach the point where Ornn's going to be able to start handing out some items while they do come through from Fnatic. Top Esports is going to be just a...
They get the Baron. We managed to see the wide Bwipo face, and it ends up being a 3,000 gold lead. Now, the gold you get from Baron is already accounted for in the Red Bull Baron power play.
Fnatic, but that's not what Knight wants. Knight needs to take these fights slowly. Otherwise, you saw what just happened in the last one.
And you can see there's 2 teleports available for Fnatic. So with Baron buff enabled, with Gas to allow Selfmade to finish off the tower, while that's going on, Bwipo's pushing through the mid lane.
Fact is, right now, Jackulov just does not have the damage to compete. Maybe when you finish off a Death's Dance, the fights start to look... Oh,
how impactful Bwipo can be running into that fight, giving the ability for Nemesis to jump in safely while the Hourglass is up, and then just waiting for Jackulov or Knight or Karsa, fling one of them. for Untold Stories, the new exclusive podcast coming this October. We'll get more insight on Game 1 and the singed pick in just a few minutes.
Love it.
What a great game to start the BO5.
Yo, 键盘琵琶着，时间滴答着，还不够。你的固执让我来守候，哪怕太迟也不想以后。就在这时放肆的挑逗。I got the heart of a lion, I know the heart of you.
Breathe it. We have each other's back. Together, we become legends, icons of a new generation.
Not going to drop the ball twice in a row is the expectation. They elected to stay on blue side. What adaptation do we see from Top Esports?
You got to first pick the Senna, I think. The jungle match doesn't matter too much.
I don't really consider it gear. It's an extension of who I am. It blurs the line between fantasy and
to hold our heads up high and beat the drum to what we love. Risk the fall, oh, we have felt it all come crashing down from far above. Stars are rising, countless worlds colliding, only one will take it all. Hearing voices from afar, join the madness when the curtain falls. Risk it all.
Top have chosen to stay on the blue side for game number 2. Myself, Quickshot, and Ender will bring you all the action of this series, and straight out the gates, Rakan banned from Hylissang. I am not surprised because I think he was the key difference maker in game number 1.
Top learned the hard way what it feels like to play against Hylissang, hiding in the fog of war on the Rakan, so already making some...
Still leaves that unanswered question of what will be run in the jungle. Selfmade, he ran Kindred for the first time in 2 years in the previous game. He definitely had an influential performance.
That looked so powerful in the 2 versus 2 in game number 1. And if they do end up going the route of Braum, this is really interesting because Tahm Kench plus that Senna can be very powerful.
Players that we want to focus on in game 2 is this Casa versus Selfmade matchup. You know, Selfmade in the previous game, debuting his Kindred for 2020. First time in 2 is down, Bwipo is down, and it's all gone to hell for Fnatic. 3 kills to Top.
Ridiculous fight in the ball lane as everyone teleports in. Carson missed his EQ combo and he barely...
Fall prey to Jackie Love and Top Esports. They get themselves a plate and they get themselves out.
And that's 2 plates and solo gold on Reckless too, so... I mean, that's a lot of gold going into the Ashe, even if the CS advantage is there for Jackie Love. And Knight, once again, is continuing to walk towards that bottom lane to find a play, but is not able to get it on that one. And that is going to be a problem for Top. If Knight is not able to succeed on these roams, well, he's not getting an advantage solo in his lane, and his team is falling behind. He has to be able to get control over the map and shut down playmaking options from Top, because that's what Top would love to do now, is get you out of bot lane, start fighting around Knight, around Karsa, using that Gangplank ultimate.
And they take over games, and this is a threat that you cannot disregard. If Selfmade or Reckless get caught by barrels, well, that could be problematic. It's 5 seconds to Dragon.
Yeah, Reckless has flash and heal, so he has tools to play into Top here, but the Gangplank plus Jarvan ult is absolutely deadly, and that's exactly what Top are going to be trying to unload on Reckless and reach him.
risk, but that get out of jail free card, so they also didn't want to start the
It's really interesting, though, how there seems to be a clear disconnect in the two ways these teams think about the game, because right as soon as that dragon goes down, Nemesis
seconds to the next Inferno, and it all started catching 369.
Look at the pathing in the river, though. It's so interesting. Reckless doesn't commit down to the fight. He loops all the way around because he knows there's a Tom Kench, Jarvan, Seth.
Esports.
It was the golden road that was denied for RNG, for Carson. That's where Jackie Love came up and took it home. So Fnatic Europe getting 2 birds for 1 stone on this push. Knocking down Jackie Love, knocking down Karsa in a prime position to go to match point against the tournament favorites in top esports.
The thing that I find beautiful as Karsa is going to slide, he's going to be able to get the knock-up, lock everyone in the Cataclysm. Nemesis has still got that shockwave, he catches 3, but at what cost? Helisang jumps away, Dawning Shadow, the fish has played the lane, never giving him a chance to find 751 damage, but never giving him a chance to dominate the game. It has been Fnatic that has been on top of the initiation.
Is making it impossible for top to actually dive that backline, so you have to fight front to back, but you are just weaker in that scenario against the double marksman of Fnatic.
Reckless wasn't even there in that initiation. Damage is onto Yanja and the retreat from Fnatic. Got to play this one carefully, but they feel themselves an opportunity to win the fight.
How brutal is that? Hillisang counters his own top laner, so the stolen to be a little bit more creative to find out Reckless, and I think Fnatic are just going to try and stall out as soon as this dragon spawns, make sure Reckless's flash is up before risking it all again. But that's where top have more.
Send them packing. The inhibitor falls over, and now Fnatic, they step forward. How brave are they feeling?
They're looking for the double inhib. They want to keep top underneath their Nexus tower so they can easily.
The LPL champions, top esports. We said at the beginning of the day they were up against it. They were huge underdogs. But what could be their saving grace is that they play towards their strengths and the meta favors their strengths. Is that what we've seen so far?
I think that's true. I think that's the main concept.
The semi-finals and advancing to a showdown with Ch.精as we jump into draft. Because Top Esports lost game 2, they have side selection and once again elected to go blue side. They ban away Cinero has been very influential. A pivot in the draft, it was Graves, then Senna, now Orianna locked in by top, and we'll see what the responses do. Fnatic want to lock in the Senna. It was available game. There's all those things you just described, right?
Yeah.
For the Forge Guard, you get the knockups as well. If it is comboed with the likes of Rakan or another hard engaged support, we'll give them some options. So we know where Ornn is going, and now what is 3?
2 games have been completely about the bottom lane. Fighting around bot side early, draft some, dumb tanks in the top lane and bring them down there to just be meaty front lines for your team.
I love that. Dumb
plays happen with the Karma in the bot lane too. You're looking for priority versus the Rakan. They knew the Rakan was going to come through. They were prepared to lock in the Karma next to that Ezreal to have that early game pressure. Maybe
can keep people away from them, then Selfmade can run amok. However, there's a lot of mobility on the side of Top Esports, movement speed as well. It comes down to this, what could be in next week if they win the series and then set themselves up with a Ch.精semi-final. And as a side note, Fnatic are looking for the all LPL kill. By
push pressure at level 1, the Mantra Q, completely unfair to deal with, especially with this Rakan. So it would be up to teleports from a Blippo or pressure from a Selfmade to try and turn the course of this bottom.
to keep the hopes alive, because for top, the only way to a semi-final showdown with Fnatic is a reverse sweep, and it is a tall task based on what we've seen in the two previous games.
And it will come a lot through the early pressure. The thing is that ultimately flashes in top lane aren't going to matter a whole lot, especially because, you know, it looks like, oh no, Bwipo's actually going to use his teleport, so not looking for any sort of early bot lane play, but regardless would mean that if
picked up by top for the first game at Worlds 2020, Fnatic do not secure it. And Bwipo was just bounced sky high by 369.
well, not having the flash, so waiting on the side, roaming with Yuyanja, the combination of Hizzle with Knight Shockwave locks down Selfmade. Selfmade doesn't even get a chance to flash out of that. Perfect.
And playing with vision again.
Oh, Bwipo can use the ultimate to try and clear the way, but here's the dive.
Out. Bellows Breath will clear out the last, flashes away from the knock-up, and the tower still stands. Kase is still holding onto the Rift Herald.
It's really staying off of that one, so there's no one-shot to be had. That's crazy.
Watch the HP on that renewal. That Mantra W just flying up, and JackeyLove had Summon Heal as well, which he stepped forward to use, also helping.
The items, it's all favoring top in this fight, and Fnatic are completely split as well, right? Selfmade and Bwipo sort of escaping towards the north end of that fight, while the backline is stuck down here. Nemesis just
around. The pressure could not be any higher, because of course the #1 seed from the LPL top, they were one of the pre-tournament favorites, and they were just outclassed in Game 1 and Game 2 by Fnatic. Now, it wasn't a stomp approaching 20 minutes. It is a minute to go till Infernal. I think Fnatic, they snuck away that dragon, committed to it very, very quickly. Very clearly were willing to risk their lives for that.
Their jungle camps back, because that's what Fnatic need. They need gold. You know, playing for the Infernal Soul is great eventually, but you can't win a fight right now down 6 towers to none. They don't have any inner towers left to 20 minutes. That is
find the kill! JackeyLove stays alive! The shielding from Karma does it, but Fnatic get out!
The fight is absolutely ridiculous. The two-shot barrage looks for Nemesis! Yeah, Selfmade just pops on in there. This is what he was looking for in the past, and I think Jhin plus Assassin is a really deadly combination, because you have that range CC to follow up off of that. Molten Edge completed, and the Lord Dominic
estimating smash, and then hop over to a teammate to be able to escape with his life for now.
Now, Trevor, the Baron is about to die, and it was dead even for Fnatic. So this is
all of a sudden Selfmade is the sacrificial bug. While that's going on, Hylissang is taken down. He committed the flash for the play, and 369 wants to win the game. He's running onto Reckless, the true shot barrage.
Network will do.
You can't hang with that. 쏟아져 빛이 멀게 된 눈이 멈추지 않아. Once we go, 내게 넣은 멜로 모든 배워 빨리 달려. 넌 못 따라와. True damage we do it. True damage 보여줄게. But we coming right back. This time you're gonna see.
Yo! This series is awesome. Top Esports bounce back. And they answered the question, what can JackeyLove do? Well, a whole hell of a lot. Of course, it's not only about JackeyLove. As we've seen in all 3 games so far this series, it is a team, as and how they work together. Each
around the top lane early on, but I think, as expected, the Tahm Kench to come through next to the Senna for that stable bot lane experience.
Now the question is, where do you lean for this set? I think one of the benefits of fancy themselves any shenanigans, swapping the lanes around a little earlier than expected for the matchups. That's a question we'll see in a few minutes of time. But I do think this 369 into Bwipo matchup is where I really want to draw attention, as well as Casa versus Selfmade, the Nidalee versus Graves. In the previous matchup, 369 obliterated Bwipo.
It was the same matchup.
Exactly the same.
I think we've seen that top played really well around the top lane in the last game. Now, with the Nidalee plus Jace, I want to see them sort of get Knight out of that mid lane again. Knight has been so good at roaming around the map, and they have globals in the...
Also, gone for Balmy Cinder as opposed to the Sheen for the first pickup.
Fair enough. Teleport behind. Nemesis wants JackeyLove.
Let's see what can happen. JackeyLove, flash is available to him. Hylissang's coming from the side. There's the taunt. The root did slow down Reckless. Winds of War comes out, and it's Hylissang that picks up the last hit. Not ideal, but Fnatic will still be happy with it.
I mean, are they just at a shooting range or something? There's a thing of beauty in the 2v2, and look at the lapping from Bwipo. The man knows what's about to happen.
He absolutely does. I'm going to finish that point again, Ender. It is Reckless has been the face of Fnatic lead at this point in time. Very, very powerful position for this Graves. Don't forget that Nidalee was also a first rotation lock-in from top Esports, 3-1-2-3-0-1. Ghostblade picked up already at 11.5 minutes. Okay, what does that do in terms of warping the gameplay? Because you already alluded there's a lot of squid at home in this meta, and Fnatic as a team are demonstrating they can throw down with the best that Worlds has to offer.
It is such a telling story when you look at the CS numbers, and Selfmade has the most. Just hilarious, because Selfmade is literally the mid laner for the team. He just cleared like 2-3 waves in mid while the rest of his team was pushing topside. Now has a whole jungle to fall back on, and will be going into, very likely, the Infinity Edge Grit Chance build after that Zeal item completes.
Ender, if there was ever a meta to do it in, this might be the meta. And if there was ever a champion to do it on, 3-1-5 Graves might be it.
Whoa.
They are looking for 369. No flash, no unstoppable onslaught, no real way to retreat. Ch.精has just huge influence on the pick or the fight. But crucially, I think the fact that they lost their duo allowed top Esports the uncontested Drake. And as we look through some of the rest of the items,
down the wards, 369 was sort of looping around, so TES can really look on these, ward timers from Ch.精to try and punish and find that pick. And those are sort of the windows they want to play around at the moment.
Rooted in place, Bwipo is going to throw Call of the Forge God. That knocks up Jackie and Yuanja. Yuanja gets taxied all the way backward thanks to a showstopper. The volley comes out, and now top Esports on the re-engage. It's Helen. There's no more minions to work with. This will buy some time. Reckless is chunked low by the accelerator chuck blast, but the Nexus is the focus. The Nexus is being destroyed, and Fnatic won the first two, lost the next.
They're pretty good. We think we can throw something at them. We did throw something at them. They've won the last 2 games, and I think that they've adapted super well, and I think it's the mid-jungle which is just standing out so much for me in this series.
Yeah, it feels like everyone has focused.
No AP mages, nothing on your team. You're the sole AP carry of this team, and you're playing Nidalee. Champ that has to jump in. It's not like a Lily or an Evelyn, which is arguably safe with the stealth or just playing the range. You hit the spear, you're going in, and he managed to die once.
It is now about stepping up when it matters most, and momentum-wise, it's gone either way. You can really expect TES to be on a high after that last win, knowing that you've won 2 in a row.
I'm expecting some kind of pocket picks. We've seen them win from behind. We've seen them win from ahead. Now it's all about the clutch factors. I think Fnatic have got it. I think their consistency in the bot lane is shining for them. I think overplaying into it too much is what they're doing. Maybe let
Skirn, you had some time to think about it.
Why not? I guess Fnatic, I expect that there will be something spicy. I think if they go down here, they're going to go down swinging. I know that's
top Esports this time around available, and it is now locked in.
Exactly, and you speak about comfort. Nemesis, Twisted Fate. He's played the AD variety, he plays the AP variety now.
Do it.
But Knight played mid lane. Nemesis has that global impact, but Knight can be favored in the lane.
He absolutely can, and we've seen that Sylas already found itself banned once or twice this series. And this is it, do the bars.
I think that I like Leona in the hands of Yuanja because one thing that I think is very scary in the hands of an LPL team is that immediate hard engage from long range. And Bard does have that with his ultimate, but it's
playing. There is no more of a comfort pick and comfort composition than what we've already seen. And for the last question mark, what does Selfmade run in the So 369 goes down, immediately teleports back into lane. He's still got a 5 CS advantage for now, as he's caught most of that wave, but very crucial to note, level 6 for Bwipo, and he, like you said, had that explosive craftsman available. Also wondered to myself, had Selfmade, had his flash. If you're gonna go to 3-man knockup under the cannon barrage, maybe it could have been different, but he committed it earlier to pick up the kill. Gold is still even in regards to the game, and Selfmade this time around with level 6, as well as the control ward and the tri-bush is stepping forward. The moment he steps into the river, Jackie 11 Yuanja, we're going to be playing for an Ocean Rift once again. It's only 800 gold, the difference. So while it is not insurmountable by any means, it is still top esports that have struck first, that have been proactive, that have not only momentum of the last 2 games, but momentum this game on their side. And this is a crazy situation to be in because before we started the day, people wanted a game 5, but nobody really expected it.
Yeah.
People wanted to see Fnatic challenge and contest top. And the way that they did, plates have fallen. There's going to be one left here. And you'll see Selfmade finally picking up his red buff while the rest of top esports lingering in the way.
Selfmade's on the wards though, so he can't walk down here. I mean, there's no way Nemesis can actually pick up the farm. In this bottom lane, he's pathing down here, but it's just not going to work for the team. Actually, Jackie.Love gonna reset off of that one. Apparently a little concerned about the plating resistances that go up the more plates you do knock down. So things will slow down for the time being, but still very much TES favored.
It really, really is.
As to which way he wants to go, while Hillsang uses his entire CC lock, so now Selfmade's abilities can be dodged, and he still commits in for the fight, lands almost to anything, but Jackie with the cleanse, flash, and Fnatic, the way they want to approach these fights, they want to play slow. Bwipo is really powerful, actually, especially building towards some magic resistance here. Karsa has now entered the brush. Oh, man.
He available from Bwipo, and here comes top esports. They're in the pit.
Yeah, they're starting this one off. Fnatic have control of the mid wave, and they're now walking down into the river, but they might just be too late, Trevor.
Yeah, it absolutely feels that way. 2,000 HP, Yuyanji dies in the fight, despite catching Jackie.Love.
It was a heroic effort from Fnatic, and they spent everything to get the TES AD carry, but they could not finish him off this time. You see the death stance in the inventory. He's unkillable. Fnatic do not have what it takes to take him out of the fight.
Plus the flash, plus the cleanse. He had all the tools, and top esports will secure another tower.